Palma. Oh,
Oh, man.
that's unfair, and Palma 7 points in the game.
Janelle Fuentes.
Oh, wow.
Delgado makes the shot and knocks it down. Maloria is open. Three-pointer.
Oh, my goodness.
Face a jumper by Robin Celis. Caballero has time. Just posterized by Scott.
Two teams collide here at the Paco Arena in the city of Manila, looking to solidify their positions in the South Division. We have Mindoro's Enoch Homeboy, the league leader in three-pointers made this season, and also named an all-star para sa Tamaraos, going up against a fellow all-star in Judel Fuentes, who has played the most minutes and the league point getter para dito sa Quezon Huskers na makakalaban ngayon ang Mindoro Tamaraos. This is the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Ken Pangilinan with Javi Palanya. Javi, pinag-uusapan natin kanina how impressive Abra has been. But boy, Quezon with those wins against San Juan and Nueva Ecija, they're on the cusp of clinching that #1 spot in the South.
Yeah, currently on a 4-game winning streak right now heading into this game. I'm sure their confidence is at a high right now, especially after nakabawi sila dun sa pagkatalo nila before this 4-game winning streak. So Mindoro, they have to be on their A game today. They're coming off a win, so I'm sure maganda rin ang kanilang feeling going into this matchup.
And you're watching us live on the official MPBL YouTube channel, and live na rin po tayo ngayon sa Solar Sports and on pusop.com. Let's bring in our courtside reporter, Miss Mika Abisa. Miss Mika, pag nasa Paco Arena tayo, kahit sinong team, laging dinadagsa ng ating fans. But we have a fun matchup between Quezon and Mindoro.
Napag-usapan mo yung venue natin ngayon, gusto ko lang ipaalala sa ating mga kaliga na malapit lang dito, halina kayo at manood ng MPBL. But you know, para dito sa Mindoro Tamaraos at number 7, it's huge for them to actually be facing the #1 team of the South. But you know what's more exciting? For the first time in maybe 6 years that they have joined the MPBL, they might actually be in the playoffs. Kaya imagine the performances they will have until the end of the regular season. Pero para naman dito kay Coach Eric Gonzalez, obviously they've been very satisfied with their performances. As you mentioned, I will talk about that more in just a bit. But ang mas pinag-usapan syempre namin ay ang upcoming All-Star Game. Kagaya ng tanong ko kay Coach Yong, tinanong ko din siya. Sabi ko, Coach Eric, kanino ka excited mag-coach dun sa nabuong roster ng South? Sabi niya, alam mo kung kanino? Kay Kyle Tolentino. Sabi ko, talaga, bakit? Sabi niya, excited ako eh. Marami akong gustong ipagawa sa kanyang mga kakaiba. O, di ba? Ken, Javi.
Very interesting. Maraming salamat, Mika. And certainly, when talking about Mindoro, that could be a very great milestone, Javi, if they could barge into the playoffs for the very first time this season. And one reason why they're on the cusp of that is because of their veteran player na si Bam Bam Gamalina, Javi, na he has been a stabilizing presence and also has provided the numbers para dito sa Mindoro throughout the season.
Tama ka dyan, and because he is such a veteran presence on this team, ginawa na nga rin siyang playing assistant coach, just like a few others on this squad. And matagal na nga pinapangarap ng Mindoro na makapasok sa playoffs ever since Mayor Ina took over this team and built this roster coming into this season. But it has been the goal para sa Mindoro to step into the postseason, and they have a good chance of qualifying for it outright. Bam Gamalinda has been nothing short of sensational para sa kanila at his age, still producing high-quality numbers para sa kanilang koponan. Went for 21 points in their last game against Jensan, one of their biggest victories of the season.
And well, he had a lot of help, especially with these two guys also averaging in double figures for Mindoro. Enoch Homeboy, na binanggit na nga natin, all-star and also participating in the three-point shootout. Kabilang din dyan si Joseph Sedoripa na namamayani with the resurgence of Mindoro ever since Coach Benji took over para dito sa Tamaraos.
Yeah, these two guys, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. You mentioned earlier, Ken, Enoch Homeboy, the league leader in three-pointers made this season. And these two guys have really helped bring Mindoro to a different level. When Coach Benji took over, nag-improve talaga yung three-point shooting nila. It's because of these two guys. They have been the main factors in them rising above to the level of most of the teams at the top here in the league, and that's because of their outside shooting.
At talagang aasahan itong dalawang manlalaro na ito alongside Bam Bam Gamalinda, especially still without Jonas Tibayan. More on that later. But well, we shift our focus dito sa Quezon Huskers, the reigning South Division champions. In Javi, when it comes to Coach Eric Gonzalez, a lot of trust he has given dito kay Judel Fuentes. He is only the player averaging at least 20 minutes for their squad. Alam naman natin yung deep rotation na tinatakbo ni Coach Eric. But this guy certainly, at least here against Sarangani, really poured it on, especially in the first half.
They brought him here for simply one reason and one reason alone, and that's to get buckets. 13.3 points plus 10 in their last game against the Sarangani Gripper, and this could possibly be Judel's last season here in the MPBL. He is applying for the PBA draft, and I know that because of this, he wants to go out with a bang in leading the Quezon Huskers to the MPBL National Championship.
And they certainly have a good chance of doing that, especially now that they have a plethora of options in the backcourt, Javi. We're talking about LJ Gonzalez, also an all-star this season. And the way he has carved out defenses here in the league has been tremendous. But this guy, Diego Dario, especially against Nueva Ecija, picking up from where he left off here in this game against Sarangani. And ang ganda, no? If you're Coach Eric, you have a lot of options to choose from para dito sa Quezon.
Both these guys combined for 24 points in that game against the Gripper. LJ, we've already seen him last season para dito sa Quezon. Alam na natin yung kaya niyang dalhin sa lamesa para dito sa Huskers. Mr. Fourth Quarter para sa kanila. He too will be applying for the PBA draft. While ito si Diego Dario, first season here in the league, but the past two games have been nothing short of spectacular para sa kanya. I'm very happy that he's been able to somehow start a rhythm already para sa kanila, and he's using this as even more motivation for him to do even better.
A critical matchup in the South Division. It's the Mindoro Tamaraws going up against the Quezon Huskers. Puntahan na natin si Richard Tampos for our starting lineups.
The 2025 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 7 here at the Paco Arena. Let's make way the starting lineups. Up first, the Quezon Huskers. Forward number 77, Gab Banal. Also at forward number 19, JP Sarao. At guard number 13, LJ Gonzalez. Also at guard number 6, Diego Dario. Playing center number 5, the Excalibur, Simon Sandagon. Their head coach, Eric Gonzalez. Assistant coaches, Richie Tixon, Ed De La Torre, Luis Nolasco, Jonathan De Guzman, Nash Racela, Bernard Tequilla, and Councilor Jeric Tang. The team manager, attorney Don Capuna, and the team owners, Governor Doc Helen Tan, Congressman Mike Tan, and Mayor Ralph Lim. Now for Mindoro Tamaraws. Playing center number 22, Marion Magat. At forward number 17, playing assistant coach, Joseph Seduripa. At guard number 16, RJ Ramirez. Forward number 6, Riego Bam Bam Gamalinda. Point guard number 5, playing assistant coach, Axel Inigo. Their head coach is Benji Jodoro. His assistants are Kim Cinco, Ken Pono, Jason Lipunao, and Carla Nusa. The team manager, Sandra Norte. Team owner is Bola Oriental Mindoro. Honorable Mayor Jen.
Starting 5 brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Quezon starts off with LJ Gonzalez and Diego Dario. Up front, Simon Sandagon, JP Sarao, and the birthday boy, Gab Banal. Sa panig naman ng Mindoro, the backcourt of Axel Inigo and RJ Ramirez. At center, Marion Magat. And at the forward spots, Bam Bam Gamalinda and Joseph Sedorifa. Our referees for this ball game is Sev Pingol, Michael Kinay, and EJ Carase. Fourth referee is Jing Tagyam. And well, Mindoro opting to get ito si Ino Comboy off the bench Ganun din naman sa Quezon, it's Judel Fuentes also coming off the bench. Diego Dario getting a start here for Quezon. But immediately, JP Sarao replaced by Vince Magbuhos.
And I think Coach Eric just recognized that Magbuhos would be a better matchup para dito kay Bam Gamalinda rather than JP Sarao. Coach Eric doesn't mind making those kinds of adjustments in whichever part of the game. He just wants to make sure that Quezon will continue to be competitive from the start to finish.
Yeah, he is certainly not afraid to make those kinds of drastic adjustments, Javi. We saw, if you recall, that game between Quezon and Nueva Ecija. He opted for that free guard rotation, and we did not even see Will Gonzum suit up in the second half. And Diego Dario obliged, coming up with his career-high performance and nailing that game-winning free to give that road victory by Quezon against Nueva Ecija. As we see Marion Magat inside, who will score, and a foul whistled against the Huskers.
You know, I think this is the only way for Mindoro to be able to crack this league-leading defense of Quezon. That is through crisp ball movement. Importante that going up against a team as good defensively as Quezon, that Mindoro will have to move that rock. Make Quezon create those mistakes. Wait for them to do so, and you will get good scoring opportunities.
There's a lot of similarities in which how these teams rather, at least statistically, both number 1 and 2 in terms of three-pointers made, but also in the bottom 2 in terms of two-pointers. So they really love to shoot that free ball, as evidenced by this three-point shot by the birthday boy, Gab Banal.
Yeah, that guy, he loves to shoot from the outside. You remember there was one game they had when he really exploded, barely missing from beyond the arc, starting off his birthday game the right way.
And certainly, the whole Banal family in attendance. You saw Juan Banal, his brother there, of course. This was the three. Gab has been shooting lights out from beyond the arc in his last 6 games. 16 out of 31, 51.6%. And really, he has really taken the mantle playing that small forward spot para dito sa Quezon.
Yeah, he has experienced some sort of a resurgence in terms of playing time in this latter half of the season. I think Coach Eric Gonzalez and his coaching staff have recognized the impact and the value of Gab to this squad, especially with the teams ramping up their rosters this year. At hindi naman sila pinapahiya ng ating former league MVP.
Yeah, Season 2 MVP, Gab Banal. Definitely a different role this time around compared to seasons past, as Quezon is in front by 3, 5-2. Mindoro, on the other hand, it's been a while since they last played their game. Kalaban nila yung Gensan, and almost, well, 3 weeks already since that. As Gapana lines it up, can't get it to fall. And Gamalinda fouled by Simon Sandagon on that rebounding battle.
And these are fouls that you may want to avoid if you're Simon Sandagon. That has hounded you in the past. There have been quite a number of games where he hasn't been able to stay on the court because of foul troubles. So, you want to avoid contact like that kung pwede mong iwasan.
Marion Magat scoring the first field goal para sa Mindoro. Now it's with Axel Enigo. Hand off to RJ Ramirez. At the last second, dishing it out to Bam Bam Gamalinda. Stepping back and knocks down that long two-pointer.
Well challenged shot, but you see that was because of good ball movement by Mindoro.
Magbuhos. Diego Dario. He steps back, but the free will not drop.
Excellent coverage right there by RJ Ramirez, forcing Diego Dario to put the ball on the floor and make a series of moves en route to that missed shot.
Dario will be whistled for that foul.
You see here, getting the basketball off a pass creates some sort of rhythm on the catch as well, which makes it easier for the guy shooting the ball.
Mayor Jennifer Ina Alegre Cruz in attendance. Supporting her, Mindoro Tamaraos as Bam Bam Gamalinda, this time from downtown. 5 straight points, and Mindoro is in front 7-5, and now they get a steal. They will run the floor. Magat foul down low while taking the shot. 2 free throws coming up. 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
A series of baskets already here in the first quarter para kay Bam Bam Gamalinda.
Gamalinda averaging a little over 10 points a contest. Marion Magat at the line. Will Gozum now inserted here for the Quezon Huskers. Magat, their acquisition during the free agency and trade window.
I think he's a big addition to this team, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
He helps shore up their front line. You see there his numbers, although hindi naman ganun ka-significant yung nabibigay niya mga puntos. But just him being there, helps give Coach Benji Tidoro an option for the guy in the middle, because he's a tall guy who can protect the rim para sa Tamaraos, and at the same time, he's also a multifaceted scorer for a guy his size.
And also could run the floor. Something ever since Coach Benji Tidoro took over has been a premium for Mindoro, playing with a lot of pace, shooting a lot of threes. As now Mindoro is on a 7-0 run, but a foul whistled on a Tamarao. Will Gozum back at the line. It's been an arduous recovery for Will ever since he tore that ACL. But again, this is a former NCAA MVP, Will Gozum. May balita muna tayo kay Miss Mika Abisamis.
Happy birthday, Cap Gab. Sabi niyo nga, no, his family is actually here to support. Nandyan nga ang kanyang kuya na si Juan at ang kanyang mga pamangkin. Obviously, a basketball family. It wasn't easy for Gab to get to this MVP level. Kwento ni Juan, Gab got the hardest rope. He would always get cut in tryouts. So this guy has really mastered hard work through the years. Nung bata daw sila, 2-on-2 palagi. Juan and Ael, tapos Mix and Gab. Sineseryoso daw talaga ni Gab ang mga larong yon. At nung napatunayan niya na ang sarili niya kay Coach Joel, their father, he would get a pair of shoes at the start of any season or conference that he would join. Sabi niya sa akin, sana daw ngayon, malay daw natin, championship stint shoes naman, which he feels very strong about given their performances lately. Ken and Javi.
Very possible yan. Maraming salamat, Mika. And well, if you look back at the journey of Gab Banal, as we see Will Gozum knock down that jumper, nagsimula siya, no? He had a stellar career, Javi, with Xavier. And then he got into sa Lasal. But it was a short stint for him. Eventually found himself with Mapua. Although naging maganda rin yung stint niya doon, but hindi siya heralded like most of his peers. Well, more on that later on, because his teammates certainly have picked up the slack. 12-9 start for Quezon. And what an answer with a 7-0 run of their own. Faster the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop Personal Karaoke Speaker. Everyday karaoke.
How do you defend a fast break that features two of the best guards here in the MPBL? The quickest perhaps in LJ Gonzalez, and a veteran guard in Diego Dario.
Diego Dario, 4 consecutive points. They lead now by 3. Quezon winning this one against Sarangani, but contrary to what you're seeing in the final score, medyo nahirapan sila dito, Javi, particularly in the third quarter where Sarangani was able to tie it up, but Quezon made their run at the tail end of the third and eventually pulled away in the payoff period.
Yeah, Sarangani really gave them a big scare in that third quarter. Good thing that the shots started to fall. The defense was able to encapsulate the Sarangani gripper into some very tight spots offensively, and they were never able to recover from that.
Now, for Quezon, the magic number for them is 22 wins to clinch that #1 spot in the South Division. They're now at 20. Now they want to grab win number 21 tonight as Gozom hauls in that rebound for the Huskers.
I don't think it's a secret. I don't think it will take somebody deeply rooted in MPBL basketball to say, as you see, wow, what a pass, what a play. Diego Dario to Simon sa diagonal alley-oop. I don't think it's a big secret that it is important for Quezon to start seeing something significant coming from Will Gozum.
Yeah. And, well, Coach Eric Gonzalez is the type of coach, Javi, that he really would not settle for anything less. Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Yeah, he expects the best from his players each time they're on the floor. And, you know, this team, he trusts everybody here. That's why ang bilis na nung kanyang rotation. He's one of the few coaches in this league who actually uses most of his players during a game.
Ken Bono, the pass to Maikong, who will miss. Alvin Abundo now in with Alfrancis Tamsi. Will Gozom stepping into a jumper. It will miss. Jeco Bangkale gives it up to Joseph Sedorifa. Still no Ino Comboy. Ken Bono bubukol sa tres. Airballs that shot. Abundo will give it up to Will Gozom, who will lay it in.
Using his athleticism there to launch himself off that pad and finish over Ken Bono.
11-0 run enjoyed right now by the Quezon Huskers. And a foul will be whistled against Quezon as Bangkale tried to make his move.
And that's going to be 2 shots for Mindoro. Quezon's already in the penalty.
This is the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Yeah, despite seeing limited minutes over the past couple of seasons with Quezon, I think Alvin Abundo, when he is on the floor, still one of the top-notch guards here in the league.
Jeco Bangkale, acquired from Cebu. Nag-swap places sila ni June Manzo. Fresh off a stint with the Mapua Cardinals, helping them win the championship in the NCAA. Mintis yung kanyang pangalawang free throw. So also for Quezon, still no Judel Fuentes, who I believe is fresh off a flight from Davao, no?
Yes.
So let's see if how many minutes or if ever will he play here tonight.
Well, he is suited up.
Yeah.
Pero siguro nga dahil dun sa kanyang trip to Davao, maybe Coach Eric will have him come into this game late.
It gives other guys opportunities like Tamsi and Abundo. Will Gozom from downtown. It will roll out. Opiso, just his second game back after missing 3 months due to an injury. Grabs a rebound, but there was a foul against Alfrancis Tamsi. They are in penalty.
You know, that's just one downside of really being a very aggressive defensive team. At times, there will be a tendency or tendencies to commit a lot of fouls.
They actually do commit a lot of fouls. If you remember that game against San Juan, they committed 29 fouls, giving up a lot of free throws, but credit to them for surviving that.
Yeah, that game had a number of free throw attempts, a ton between those two teams. I think San Juan had 43 and itong Quezon, they had 27.
Yeah. Hans Mike Kong also won a championship in the UCL for Coach Mike Sagingit and the Olivares College Sea Lions.
In this very venue.
Exactly. 16-11, Abundo, pinabayaan pero mintis yung kanyang tira galing sa labas. Ethan Galang, outlet pass papunta kay Ray Bienes. Binigay muna kan Hans Maikong. The pass outside to Jeko Bangkale, who drills in that three-pointer. Mindoro loves to shoot threes. Number 1 in the league in makes in attempts. Gozom left it short.
Oh, he was asking for a foul, but I don't think there was any contact there to merit a whistle.
Ken Bono finding a handoff opportunity, tightly guarded by Gozo. Finds Ray Bienes, who can't stick in that free.
Oh, what defense shown there by Abundo. Excellent ball denial on Bangkale, who was repeatedly trying to meet the basketball.
A minute and 30 left in the first period. Opiso, that's his spot, but too strong on the jumper. Maikong will bring the ball down for Mindoro, down by 2. Yenes to Bono. Hands it off to Jeko Bangkale. Open free from Ethan Galang is good. A nice dribble penetration by Bangkale, setting up that free from Ethan Galang.
And to the delight of his better half in the audience, that's Bangkale, who hit the previous three-point shot. And then here, making the pass to the corner for Ethan Galang. 2 straight three-pointers for the Tamaraos, who are back in the lead by 1.
Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Mindoro now find themselves in front by 1, 17-16. And this game, well, they made sure that they win this one out after having Jonas Tibayan suffer that injury, beating Gensan 76-72.
Oh, they really made themselves dedicated to winning that game for Jonas Tibayan after what happened. And it turned out to be an excellent comeback after Gensan was looking good in that game during the first half. Those three-point shots really spelled the difference, even if they had less field goal attempts, a significant amount. They were minus 18 in that department. But they made 3 more field goals and 6 more three-point shots.
And that's very important, Javi, that victory they had against Gensan, because both have 10 losses. At the moment, Mindoro is 2 games behind Gensan for that number 5 spot. So again, like we keep on pounding on, that race from number 2 all the way to number 7, very tight. And when you look at particularly those 5, 6, 7 teams, 7 ranked teams rather, sila yung dikit-dikit doon. As we see Topeng Lagrama pick the pocket of Jeko Bangkale and score on the other side.
Yeah, you can actually even say 5-8. Gensan, Basilan, Mindoro, and Binyan. You know, these 4 teams locked in a very tight race. So marami pang pwede mangyari dyan. Marami pang pwede magbago.
Bangkale lines it up off the mark. 11 seconds remaining for Quezon, who holds a 1-point lead. Lagrama has a dance partner enhanced by Kong. Now gives it up to JP Sara, who can't hit the free. The follow-up, no good from Jason Lopiso, and that's gonna do it here in quarter number 1. Both teams pretty much going back and forth. Quezon had that lead earlier, but Mindoro was able to fight back.
It's just been a very dynamic offense that we've seen from Quezon, although Mindoro has been able to recover those early turnovers, set them back a little bit. Good thing their shots started to fall. A couple of three-point shots started to stem the tide para sa kanila. But the guard play of the Huskers have really helped them big time in this game.
We saw those pair of threes, one from Bangkale and another one from Ethan Galang. That's why Mindoro find themselves just trailing by 1 against Quezon, 18-17. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Quarter number 1 in the books. JP Sarao and the rest of the Quezon Huskers trying to fend off Mindoro. Find themselves ahead by just a single point, 18-17. Ray Bienes, together with Hans Maikong, Ken Bono, Ethan Galang, and Jeco Bangkales, still that second unit doing quite well. And they shot 8 out of 21 from the field as a team, while Quezon just, baliktad. 5 of 13 ang Mindoro, 8 of 21 ang Quezon.
Yeah, but the difference once again has been in the three-point shooting. Mindoro able to get the lead momentarily. Pero Quezon, they're actually on the other side of the coin here in terms of their strengths. Sila naman ngayon ang nangunguna sa points inside the arc. But you're right, Ken, this second unit of Mindoro has helped the Tamaraws keep in step more with the Huskers in this game. I think it's the more dynamic passing, and the scoring, of course, has been easier para sa kanila.
Sarao gets the basket and a bonus free throw coming up after getting fouled. Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Excellent high-low play. Sandagon flashing through that left elbow, and then Sarao unabashed down low, not getting any resistance. Got his defender on his feet with that excellent ball fake.
21-19 is the tally. Entry pass to Ken Bono. Nasa likod si LJ facing a double team, the former MVP, and a foul given up by Quezon.
That's a bailout call right there para sa Mindoro. That double was already affecting Ken in a very bad way. But the Huskers resorting to that foul there. Not really a good decision para sa kanila. They could have gotten a steal, which would have led to an easy basket.
Sarao will be replaced. Now it's Will Gozum, Simon Sandagon, LJ Gonzalez, Alfrancis Tamsi, and Topeng Lagrama, the unit now for Coach Eric. Bit of a small lineup para dito sa Quezon. Ken Bono for free. Airballs that one. That shot that was winding down.
Yes, somebody had to take it. And once again, Quezon preventing Mindoro from getting a paint touch on that play. That ball just moving through the outside.
Skip pass. Gonzalez turns down that shot opportunity. Now he gets it back from Lagrama. Topeng. Siyang titira galing sa labas. Pocket from Topeng Lagrama.
Topeng Lagrama is an excellent three-point shooter in the MPBL. You leave him that wide open, mataas talaga magiging porsyento niya.
Lead up to 5, 24-19. Maikong lost it. Off to the races now are the Quezon Huskers. Ball tap by Bangkalen. LJ recovers. Gozum whips a pass to Alfrancis Tamsi. Gozum's shot will not work. 8.5 to go here in the second period. Bienes. Hinigay muna kay Jeco Bangkale. Trying to shake off Lagrama. He will miss. One and done by Mindoro. Lagrama spins away from the defense, but Bangkale is still in front of him. Gozum hesitated, and that cost him. And missing altogether that three-point attempt.
You could see still meron pang lack of confidence para dito kay Will when he's going for those open looks. Still not sure on whether he's gonna take it.
Two FEU guys going at it, Sandagon and Bienes. Sandagon getting the stop. Bounce pass, Tamsi. Set up by LJ Gonzalez for the layup.
The fast break game has been working here at the start of the second quarter for Quezon.
7-point lead. Bangkale hops into the lane and scores with a layup of his own.
One of the rare times na nakakuha sila ng oportunidad na makapasok dun sa loob ng shaded area. Bangkale splitting 2 defenders on his way to the basket.
LJ put some speed on and able to draw a foul. Kong was the guilty party. Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Play on-the-go speaker. Takes your music anywhere.
Through that little tight spot in between Ethan Galang and and Alfrancis Tamsi rather. Gonzalez making the right decision on that fast break attempt.
Marian Bagat returns for Mindoro. LJ Gonzalez, one of the best two-way point guards in the league. Knocks down the first free throw.
There you see his numbers on your screen. Little bit of an underwhelming thing if you see it through a regular lens. But the impact is so much more para dito kay LJ Gonzalez because he brings a lot across the table. And yung kanyang contributions, usually he would defer to a lot of his teammates most of the game. In many matches, talagang sa fourth quarter, dun mo talaga siya maaasahan.
And you have to consider, he's only playing 19 minutes a game.
Ayun
Yet,
na nga.
he's averaging in double figures in scoring. And also 1.9 steals is nothing. Sorry, 2 steals a game is nothing to scoff at.
Kaya minsan magtataka ka, for people who don't really watch the MPBL a lot and then they suddenly look at the numbers of players that are the more heralded ones like LJ Gonzalez. Minsan titingnan nila yung mga numero nila, sasabihin nila, hindi, parang average lang naman or regular. But really, it's you have to look through these layers, Ken, like you mentioned, the minutes played and also how he plays the entire match.
Yeah. Plays for full throttle on both sides of the floor.
Exactly.
About LJ Gonzalez. Fuentes now in. Like you said, late na siya pinasok dito in the second quarter. Gonzalez for 3. Off target. Cabanal strides down the lane. He will miss. Axel Inigo. To Ino Comboy, nakakapasok lang din. Curiously. Halos sabay sila ni Judel.
Well, if Judel also went to Davao, Comboy was also just there.
28-21, fading away and swishing in that jumper is Axel Inigo, much to the delight of his proud father.
Ang kanyang nanay nandito rin.
Yeah, always. Kahit nung nasa Mindoro, pumunta din sila.
Yeah, I don't think they missed a game nung kanilang mga anak.
Yeah.
Kahit gaano kalayo pa yan.
Cabanal strokes it in. Second free from the former MVP.
He has 2 of Quezon's threes in this game.
31-23. Both teams hitting 3 threes. Now make it 4 for Mindoro. 4 out of 13 after Sedorifa connects from downtown. And we've expected a shootout, especially how these 2 teams want to light it up from deep.
Nice matchup between 2 different former FU guards. And you see here a 3-point shot by Cabanal.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. Sinagot din naman ni Joseph Sedorifa on the other side. Simon Santagon. Great timing on that swat by Bam Bam Gamalinda.
Oh, what a defensive play there by the veteran. That's against a very athletic finisher at the basket in Will Gozum. Or Simon Sandagon, rather.
And now, he checks Sandagon with his shoulder, making his presence felt. Bam Bam Gamalinda.
Yeah, sometimes there are occasions when players are somehow let go by their coaches to do such things. I'm not saying it's always right, but sometimes it is effective in you establishing a presence on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. And now Mindoro just keeping themselves within striking distance against the Quezon Huskers. 31-26. And they really responded well from that blowout loss they had against Pasay. Bouncing back by beating Gensan, and now another three-point shooting team on the other side, Quezon. Suedo Rifa with back-to-back threes.
Well, that was a solid screen set there by, was it Gamalinda or Magad? I could not tell. But that enabled Sedorifa to free himself up top of the circle.
Bambam Gamalinda seems to be hurt holding on to this ankle. Axel Inigo, mintes yung kanyang tira. Cabanal falls down on the floor.
You know, these two guys have been going at it, shooting each other out, and also being quite physical. But you love the sportsmanship shown by Sedorifa in picking up Banal after that fall.
Those are two true professionals,
Aye.
Cabanal and Joseph Sedorifa.
I certainly agree. Now it's Mindoro who is over the limit early in this quarter. Quezon was in the penalty at around this same time during the first period.
So Cabanal now at the free throw line. Just going back to my story earlier, LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Yun nga eh, sa Lasal hindi naging fruitful yung career niya, Javi, then found his way to Mapua. And then, boy, I think nobody really saw it coming when he played for Bacoor in Season 2 against Coach Joel Banal, Coach Juan Banal there. And man, that Season 2 where he won that MVP award, when you consider the talent the MPBL had during that time, it was so impressive that Gab was able to garner that MVP award.
Tama ka dyan. And that's just the fruit of the hard work that he's put in. Nasabi na nga ni Mika sa report niya kanina, according to one, that Gab has always had a chip on his shoulder, always had something to prove. And that did not stop even in his professional career.
One of the hardest workers. Oh, brain cramp, a rare one from LJ Gonzalez.
I could not imagine that would be the kind of mistake that LJ would make on the floor. That only tells us that these players, even though they are great performers under tremendous pressure, that they are still human beings after all.
Walo na ang turnovers ng Mindoro compared to only 4 by the Huskers, yet they find themselves down by just 5. Popping out, Ino Comboy for free. It will roll out. LJ putting some speed on. The shot pick by Fuentes. Drifting right and drew a foul. He will go to the line where he is a 94.7%, 94.9% from that distance.
He's just so tough to guard. Even if he is not the fastest, he's not the flashiest, he doesn't really have the fanciest moves. Actually, sobrang simple nga lang gumalaw, yet so effective nito ni Judel Fuentes. And I think the secret is in the footwork.
Yeah, so wily to si Judel at that guard spot. The Davao City native, former CEU Scorpion, Judel Fuentes. That number, that free throw percentage might just be the best in the league when you consider the volume.
I agree. That may be one of the best in history.
Yeah. And he knocks down 2 free throws, prompting a timeout by the Mindoro Tamaraws. 3:32 left. They're down by 7. Our Gixer fan of the game, born for greatness, Christian Pagaran, not in uniform for today. That goes to show you how deep this lineup of Quezon is. And right now in front by 7 points against Mindoro. Dino Comboy has yet to score, inserted late here in the second period together with Judel Fuentes. Now he was able to draw a foul.
Yeah, he usually starts games, but I think also due to him not being able to practice a lot the past couple of weeks has set him back in Coach Benji's rotation, but still recognized as a valuable piece of this team. Of course, it was Nino Comboy.
Yeah, the leading scorer for them, Dino Comboy.
And their representative during All-Star game on Saturday.
Man, how impressive has he been? 15 straight games of at least 3 triples made a contest. That's Steph Curry like if you're Ino Comboy.
Oh yeah, again, it's very tough to shoot more than 2 threes a game in this league with the physicality, the defense.
Time winding down, Sedorifa left it short. A poor foul given up by Axel Inigo.
Yeah, especially because I'm sure he knows that kanina pa sila nasa penalty. They've been over the limit for the past 2 minutes already. And it's just not right for your point guard to make these kinds of mistakes because it just sets the wrong precedent for your other teammates. You have to be the example on the court. You are the extension of the head coach. Therefore, you have to know your foul situation.
Itong free throw na ito, atin sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Ay pasok ni LJ yung kanyang unang free throw. A lot of former FEU guys here.
Oh yeah.
From both squads, right?
Yep. You got Bienes and Inigo in Mindoro, then LJ Gonzalez, Simon Sandagon from Quezon, as well as Al Francis Tamsi.
Nino Comboy, Yenes, RJ Ramirez, Axel Inigo. 38-29. RJ overshooting the target. Joshua Yero comes away with it. Diego skips it to Gab. What a pass inside. Laser-like pass setting up Joshua Yero underneath.
One of the more unheralded passers in the league. Ito si Gab Banal. And he has shown us some impressive court vision, especially this season.
11-point advantage for Quezon. Gamalinda, ball poke loose and a poor foul again by Mindoro, who seems to have ran into a wall in the last couple of minutes. Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Well, you talked about the pass, but what about the finish as well? Galing kay Joshua Yero, being skilled enough to finish with the left hand, which was the more appropriate finish on that side of the floor.
Santago at the line. Makes good on the first free throw. Simon Sandagon, also a former FEU Tamaraw, mintis yung kanyang pangalawa. Mindoro has been scoreless for a couple of minutes already, and Quezon now on a 10-0 run, increasing their lead to 12, now down back to 10 after that basket by RJ Ramirez, and he has a bonus free throw coming up.
Yeah, they have failed to capitalize on the penalty situation that Quezon is now in until now. Ramirez turning the corner here against a guy called off the bench in Eman Tagle, getting the step on him and finishing through the contact.
Chance to cut it back to single digits yung lamang dito ng Quezon. Ramirez though fails to hit a free throw. Gabanal the rebound. Almost another backcourt violation. Diego Dario Banal. Off the bounce. Gab. Inside pass. Simon Santagon. That will not roll through. Inigo onto the front court. Against Eman Tagle. Sedurifa wants to post up Diego Dario. Quick double by Gab. It frees up Bam Bam Gamalinda, who makes the defense pay with a free.
This is where Mindoro can actually expose the defense of Quezon. You have Dario on Sedurifa, and then Quezon elects to double, which means somebody is open, and that was Gamalinda earlier for Mindoro.
Diego tries to answer, and he does. Lead back up to 10 after that triple.
Now leading the way for the Huskers in scoring. Ito si Diego Dario. Gives up a 3 because he has a bigger guy on him. Siya naman ang nakabawi para sa Huskers dun sa kabila.
9 points total for Diego Dario.
You see here, he was under a mismatch. Gabanal had to double, which left Gamalinda open. And then the presence of mind and the aggressiveness, the willingness to take the big shot on the other side to answer back 3 points.
You have a review on the floor. Diego Dario, his last 4 games, 16.8 points and 3.5 threes on 60.9% shooting from beyond the arc, as the last foul call has been upgraded to an unsportsmanlike foul against RJ Ramirez. So free throws plus ball possession for the Quezon Huskers.
And that's just a pity for Mindoro, especially because the Tamaraos have been able to score the past couple of possessions, and then you give up something like this. I always say an unsportsmanlike foul is a big momentum shifter. Wala pa nga masyado sa Mindoro yung momentum, ibabalik mo na agad dito sa kabilang koponan.
The former Adamson Falcon, Joshua Yero, knocks down the first, which Benji Diodoro. 10-6 since he took over for Coach Rodney Santos.
Many people would argue that why would you actually transition from a coach who has way more credentials rather than Coach Benji? But you know, the thing is, Coach Benji has been around this team for quite some time already. He's very familiar with how things work. But this is the first time they actually have a roster that is filled with formidable players.
And he has really created an identity para dito sa Mindoro. Just them, like I said earlier, playing with a lot of pace, shooting a lot of threes, and competing really hard against the best teams. And they have gotten a couple of important wins, particularly earlier in the season against Zamboanga and now against Gensan, as we see Jason Opisodo, uncontested, getting that layup to go. Double foul between Gamalinda and Yero. Bam Bam not happy with something, has some choice words for Joshua Yero. Bam Bam and Wawa. Yep. Just two guys going at it. Bam Bam, the veteran that he is, he will not back down certainly against Joshua Yero. But you know, Joshua Yero is a physical guy playing that wing spot, sometimes the 4. And he's just trying to make life hard at the post for Bam Bam Gamalinda. 32.7 seconds left, 14-point lead para sa Quezon.
And I think he did something very effective to get into the head of Bam Bam Gamalinda, which I think is more of a positive rather than a negative.
It's
para sa
a double
Quezon.
foul between number 41 Joshua Yero and number 6 Bam Bam Gamalinda. His 4th foul.
Yeah, that's right, Javi. Because Gamalinda just committed his 4th foul.
Palitan sila ng banggaan dun eh. I think ang nauna si Yero, and then Gamalinda answered, and then it went back and forth a couple of times, which resulted in the double foul. Now Coach Benji Teodoro is faced with a decision. Is he going to continue to keep Gamalinda inside the court? And I think he will. No signs of substitution right now at this moment.
Again, still no Jonas Tibayan. So that front court rotation pretty much depleted. Gamalinda was held by Jason Opiso, both teams in penalty. Gamalinda will troop to the line for 2 shots. Averaging 10.6 points, sorry, 11.2 points per contest. Knocks down the first free throw. Now, a important stretch here for Mindoro, a 2-for-1 opportunity. They get a stop and then get a basket, make this a much more manageable lead, although Gamalinda missing his second free throw. Lagrama now at the controls. Inigo is the one in front of him. Now goes to Will Gozum. Gozum off the bounce. He will lay it in.
Now this is more like the Will Gozum that we used to know para sa Quezon.
Time winding down in the first half. Gamalinda at the post. The pass to Axel Inigo was rejected by Will Gozum as time expires here in quarter number 2.
So Quezon showing the league-leading defense against Mindoro, especially as you wind down the second quarter. Mindoro catching some sort of continuity in their offense, but Quezon answering back with those stifling defenses and made shots.
At the half, they lead by 15. Talking about Quezon over Mindoro, 50-35.
Back at the Paco Arena for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. My name is Mika Abesamis, and right now I am joined by 2 special guests. The team owner of the Mindoro Tamaraws, walang iba kundi si Mayora Ina Alegre Cruz, and one of the executives of the Quezon Huskers, Jaggy Gregorio. Magandang gabi. Ma'am, alam nyo, palaging ako nakakipagkwentuhan sa mga coaches, lalo na yung mga strong contenders, lagi nilang sinasabi, kinakabahan pa rin talaga sila pagkalaban ng Mindoro kasi kung titignan nyo ang roster, mas experience talaga ang mga players nyo kaysa sa mga bata, kaya nakakatakot din lalo na sa dulo ng game. Ma'am, ramdam mo ba na baka ito na yung season after 6 seasons in the MPBL na finally papasok na kayo sa playoffs?
Hindi ko alam kung bakit sila kinakabahan. Pero siyempre, for almost 6 years na hawak natin yung team. More or less, alam mo yung pakiramdam ng team owner na sana eto na yung time para makapasok naman ng Mindoro. Sana mapagbigyan, no, na makapasok kami sa playoffs. Talagang yun yung pangarap namin. Kahit nga lang yun na yung pangarap namin na mapasama sa play-in, tapos mapasama sa playoffs, sobrang yun yung pangarap namin lahat. Sa Mindoro, lahat ng Mindoreño, pinapangarap, lalo na yung mga kabataan na makita yung Mindoro Tamaraws for almost 6 years na makapasok kami.
Kahit naman medyo ganito yung score nung laro ngayon, ma'am, nakikita naman talaga yung effort at saka tapang ng iyong mga players. Meron po ba kayong mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan, ma'am Ina?
Siyempre, lahat ng Mindoreño, maraming salamat sa suporta and sa mga sponsors namin. Maraming sa lahat ng sponsors. At siyempre sa MPBL, maraming salamat po. Sa mga players natin, kaya nila yan. 15 pa lang ang lamang eh.
Yan ang gusto natin. Maraming salamat once again, Mayora Ina Alegre Cruz, the team owner of the Mindoro Tamaraws. Jags, hello. Obviously, it's been good so far, no? The team performance, the individual performances. In terms of management, do you guys actually think this is already enough for the playoffs?
Well, we're happy with where we're at right now, but like what the coaches always preach, there's always something to get better at. So that's what we're trying to work on every day. It's just to keep getting better, especially getting ready for the playoffs.
And that's what we can see, of course, with the Quezon Huskers. No? Meron ka ba mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan, Jaggy?
Yes, of course. We're saying hi to Boss RD Ronel Tan, Governor Helen Tan, Congressman Mike Tan, Doc Kim Tan, Mayor Ralph Lim, and to our #1 fan, Malik Tan, and of course, Attorney Don Kapunan.
Maraming salamat once again, Jaggy Gregorio of the Quezon Huskers. Magbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
Ngayon, babawi ako. Kasi last year, may injury ako nung nag-participate ako eh. Sana maging healthy pagdating ng All-Star. Talagang kailangan ma-shoot lang yung mga tira ko and mag-practice.
Siyempre, nung last year, talo kami. Nag-enjoy naman kami last All-Star. So, ngayon siguro ulit, ngayong paparating na September 6, siguro we enjoy lang. Kasi lahat ng mga sikat andun na eh. So, kailangan siguro enjoy the game.
Galingan mo, Orlan. Let's give them a good show sa 3-point shootout.
Sa paparating na All-Star, sana supportahan nyo kami and ipapakita namin sa inyo kung ano yung kaya namin and papasahin namin kayo.
Hi mga kapatid ng MPBL, lalo na sa mga sumusuporta and sa mga fans ng MPBL. Sana pumunta po kayo at manood sa Binyan, Laguna All-Star 2025.
tighten up again, and then halfway through that, Mindoro's shots started to miss, coupled with the turnovers that they committed. They ended up with 10, which led to Quezon scoring 12 off of them. And even the weakness supposedly of the Huskers, which is scoring inside the paint, they have dominated in this game.
Diego Dario and Bam Bam Gamalinda each leading their respective squads in scoring with 9 points each. Dario will start the third with LJ Gonzalez, with Simon Sandagon, Gab Banal, and Vince Magbuhos rounding up the front court for the Huskers. Diego Dario to Gab Banal. Off the bounce, Gab Banal all the way for two.
Excellent execution there by Quezon, starting off on the right foot here in the second half, not letting up. It's very important if you want to sustain a lead like this, you start off things the right way.
Very different look to begin the third period for the guys in blue. Jeco Bangkale, Joseph Sedorifa, Ino Comboy, Ethan Galang, and Ken Bono. Mintes yung tira ni Ino Comboy.
Now, even though that was a disadvantage in terms of height for Diego Dario, this time he did not let Comboy bully him compared to what Sedorifa did earlier in the second quarter.
Galang gives it up to Ino Comboy. He will line it up for three off the heel. Gonzalez hauls in the board.
Still scoreless in this game, Ino Comboy. 0 out of 4 now after those two misses to begin the quarter.
Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
A switch happened there, and then Sedorifa just let Comboy be the one to rotate, and he was already too late because Banal was already decided on what he was going to do.
LJ Gonzalez lost the basketball. Ino Comboy, he will drive and he will earn himself 2 free throws.
If you want to try and start yourself off on getting shots inside the basket, I think going to the free throw line is one of the easiest ways for a scorer as good as Ino Comboy. Sometimes all you need is to see that basketball go through the net.
Ino Comboy, leading scorer for Mindoro, 14.5 points, a ball game. Only averaged 9.2 points in his first 6 games, but has really picked it up ever since. But he misses the second free throw. Lead still at 16 points. Gonzalez will set the table for Quezon, rejecting the ball screen. Gab Banal fires. No good on the 3. Bangkale finding Ino Comboy. Back to Jeco Bangkale, no hesitation. It will bounce out. Dario serving the floor. He will attack. Nahanap niya si LJ Gonzalez sa bandang kaliwa. Mintes. Sedorifa now. Gets it to Ethan Galang. Titira siya sa 3. Tatalbog palabas. Dario, may tangan ng bola para sa Quezon. Binigay kay LJ Gonzalez. Back to Diego Dario. Another 3-point attempt, this time for Quezon, and another miss. Mindoro has had opportunities here to inch closer. 7.5 to go here in the third period. Ken Bono backing down. JP Sarao. Ken Bono able to will that one through.
It just makes things somehow look easier. Defense was right there with him. Sarao was all over that shot. And yet, that little hang time that Ken Bono had on that shot enabled him to make it.
Bangkale making things happen, forcing a turnover after poking that ball loose.
Now, this is the kind of defense that Mindoro has to play on a consistent basis in this game to come back. See here, backing down, trying to force himself in on the gather. No shot on the other side, goes a little up and under there. And that little hang time, as I mentioned, helping him make that shot off the glass.
We go to Ken Bono again at the post. Isolated against JP Sarao. It's dinner time for Ken Bono.
Kakain na.
Back-to-back baskets for the former UAP MVP. And they pull to within 12. And now he comes away with a steal. Ken Bono. Quickly now, Jeco Bangkale kicks it out. Comboy will miss. Gonzalez now going right at Ethan Galang, and Galang could not believe the call, and he will be whistled with a foul.
I know they're trying to get Comboy going in this game. But let's see first this basket by Ken Bono. Again, almost the same spot, same side on the floor. This time did not have to use the up and under, just went straight up using his heft against JP Sarao on that play. But going back to that last play,
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL.
itong si Comboy, he got that basketball, was able to launch a shot, but I think the higher percentage look was with Joseph Sedoripa on the left side, closer to the basket.
Oh, both free throws missed.
Mindoro's lucky there because Quezon could not retake the lead at 14.
Quezon giving Mindoro opportunities. Jeco Bangkale. That was a tough look. Campanal for free. Bucket.
That is just too much space. Sedoripa, he should know. That's Noah Banal yung kanyang pamangkin, no? Who is also a budding player himself.
Oh, yeah.
He will-
Gilas player.
Yeah, he will now be representing Ateneo, transferring from Mapua. Quezon starting to get themselves going inside or beyond the three-point line sa laro na to.
Bangkale able to slither down the lane and score though. 55-42. JP Sarao, lista mo na.
Once again, you do not give these guys the opportunity to get open looks. They're so good of a team that a lot of them, when you leave wide open, it's almost a sure shot because Quezon, they put a lot of premium on reps in practice and even after practice.
Campanal fires the pass to Al Tamsi. Pumalog palabas, but Sarao there to clean it up. And just like that, Quezon extending their lead to 17 points. And Mindoro forced to call a timeout.
You see here,
Our fan of the game is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. The right is former UP Fighting Maroon volleyball player, Abby Gok. So supporting itong Quezon Huskers na kasalukuyang lamang lang 17 puntos, 59-42 laban sa Mindoro. Just past the halfway point of the third period. Jason Opiso, just his second game back from that lengthy recovery from an injury rather. Two FEU guys now in, as well as their homegrown player na si Rodel Vaigan para sa Mindoro Tamaraws. Vaigan will force it up and immediately creating an impact, drawing a foul, and he will shoot 3 free throws, or actually just 2 free throws.
Yeah, had his foot on the line, but that's a smart move right there by Rodel Vaigan. Shot clock winding down again. Not really much of a clear shot for Mindoro on that play.
let's turn you over to Miss Mika Abisamis.
Habang pinapanood natin itong si Kuya Rodel Vaigan, kwento ni Coach Ben G. Teodoro, no? They are worried because August 11 pang huling laro nila, tapos they prepared for the Abra game like they have never prepared before, just to find out the game was canceled because of the weather. So ito, carry over ito ng matinding practices na yon, pagod at matagal na walang game. Sabi nga ni Coach Eric, alam mo Mika, hindi biro itong Mindoro team na to eh. They have more experienced players than us. Comboy, Sedorifa, Kamalinda, Bono. Yung mga yan, sa basketball ang kailangan lalo na sa dulo ng games, kaya kailangan talaga ingatan pa rin namin itong dulo ng game nito. And like I mentioned earlier, Mayora Ina Alegre Cruz is excited to hopefully have this year as their playoff appearance. And in the Mindoro Tamarao's words, nobody wants to let her down, so they will try and make this game work. Ken and Javi.
Thank you so much, Mika. And yun naman talaga, it's gonna be a milestone for #Suwag City if makakuha nila yung inaasam nilang playoff appearance. But, just going back, Javi, minsan it's tough to figure out what kind of Mindoro Tamarao's squad we'll be seeing in a game-to-game basis. Because we've seen a Mindoro team beat teams like Zamboanga. They also had that win against Gensan. And then you have those games where they were beaten by Quezon City. I mean, that's no knock on Quezon City, but they have a below 500 record at the moment. Pero yun nga the pieces are there, Javi, but for some reason, they just can't put in a string of victories that can get them over the hump. Of course, Boss Sedel, fresh off his flight from Fukuoka, Japan. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Sana may pasalubong. Meron kayang bit-bit? Sana naman.
Si Tikboy parang nakaabang Ha? Altamsi, mintes yung kanyang dress. Parang may request si Tikboy Ano mga request mo, paring Tik? Ha?
Sana daw may dalang sushi galing.
Ayan, sushi.
Pwede ba yun?
Pwede? Ewan ko, pwede naman yata Basta day itself mo bilhin,
Ayun na nga.
Topeng Lagrama, binigay kay Will Gozo, libre para sa dress. Mintis. Nakakuha ni Altamsi yung rebound. Balik kay Topeng Lagrama.
Mindoro's just been a step slower here in reacting to those loose balls.
That's from way beyond the arc from Topeng Lagrama, hitting his second free.
Offensive rebound, second chance opportunities, those things benefiting Quezon going into their biggest lead of the game at this point.
Hands by Kong, forcing the issue, gets back his own miss. Axel Enigo can't hit the free, bola natapik, it ends up with Bienes, pupukol din siya sa tres. A lot of missed opportunities for the Mindoro Tamaraos. And a foul will be called against Quezon though.
You see a lot of missed shots really plaguing Mindoro here in the third quarter. They've had a number of open looks, yes, but I think the problem is more on the defensive side. The more that you're able to generate stops, the more you give yourselves an opportunity to score. Mas dadami yung attempts ninyo kung mas marami yung magiging stops. If you let Quezon get to the offensive glass a lot, you will let Quezon have more opportunities to extend the lead, which is what they have done here in the third.
And they seek to increase it once more, but Will Gozom will be called for an offensive foul.
It's very tricky to set a pick, especially using your backside with you on a run. Dahil may tendency talaga na i-extend mo yung likod mo. Dito, mo. Ayun. That hip slightly extended, and that's enough reason for our referees to blow the whistle.
23-point lead. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the third period. Ball tapped. Almost another turnover against Mindoro. Axel Inigo this time from the left corner.
I think it was a poor decision for Ray Bienes to try and still go to Axel Inigo on the block against a smaller Topeng Lagrama. It was just absolutely great defense, but good thing they get the ball back and Inigo gets to hit the three.
Ilalim, crisp passing from the Huskers. Will Gozom with a reverse.
Ayan ang problema pag naiwan si Ken Bono dun sa loob, sa gitna, and you have the Huskers really going inside-outside on their passing, that leaves Mindoro very little room to react and recover.
Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. The two former MVPs going at it. That's by Kong at the line. 20 assists already for the Quezon Huskers. Kong makes good. It's 67-46 now. Wow, this Quezon defense holding Mindoro to just 46 points. And we're almost done here in the third. Wawayero goes to Jason Opiso. The kick pass out to Tamsi. Oh, big boy rebound by Jason Opiso.
Everybody has to chip in. It's already a known fact that Ken Bono cannot be relied on to pull down all those rebounds. He needs help. He's a step slower already, but he needs somebody. Actually, he needs all four of his teammates to help him pull down that stop.
Yeah. As a team, they're not really a good rebounding squad. Talking about Mindoro, just 24th. 42.8 rebounds a contest.
And this is where I think the loss of Jonas plays in.
Yeah.
Dahil even though he's undersized, Tibayan is one of the more solid rebounders for the Tamaraws this season.
And he competes
in
that department. Alvin Abundo gives it up to Topeng Lagrama. 10 seconds on their shot clock. Cutting backdoor was Abundo, but he took an extra step. Traveling call whistled against Abundo. 29 seconds left for Mindoro. Both teams have 10 turnovers, but the big difference so far in this game has been Quezon making them pay with those miscues. And also plus 23 in terms of rebounds itong Quezon Huskers. Axel Inigo was fouled. Both teams in penalty. Inigo will head to the line for 2 free throws. Axel Inigo. So former FU Tamarao left his first free throw short.
Free throws have also been quite the problem for Mindoro in this game. They've now missed 11 free throws.
Only shooting 45%. And this guy is an 84% free throw shooter, Axel Inigo, who rectifies that by hitting the second. 16 seconds left. Quezon, possible last shot here. Topeng Lagrama peeks at the clock. It reads 7 seconds. Lagrama lines it up, puts it in from downtown.
It still really amazes me how Topeng Lagrama continues to play well under such immense pressure. Walang kakaba-kaba. Always so confident when he's on the hardwood.
And the Lucena native giving a boost. Itong Quezon Huskers. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Hey, Gabanal doing very well on his birthday game. Ken Bono had a couple of baskets for the Tamaraws that helped encourage them into making a run, but the shot making of the Huskers have been a problem. Their three-point shooting suddenly starting to click, and then that high-low has been a problem the entire game for Mindoro.
20-7 run to close out the third. Quezon comfortably ahead, 72-47. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Fourth quarter underway. Just want to give a quick shout out sa ating mga statisticians. JP Digno, Poging Abalos Brothers, at 10X Smiley. Ayan. Happy viewing sa inyo mga apports. Ken Pangilinan, kasama ko po si Upwards Javi Palanya na nung nakaraan lang nagkaroon ng 15-point game ng kanyang game. And of course at courtside, we have Miss Mika Abisamis. And Javi, namangit ko yung 15 points kasi 15 points yung lamang ng Quezon no, nung first half. Dinagdagan pa nila yan. And that third period, outscoring Mindoro by 10, 22-12. And they have really blown this game wide open.
Yeah, they've had their best defensive performance of this game in that third quarter, which really enabled them to stretch their lead to this big. It's been quite nakahalata talaga natin dito no na mas mabilis yung Quezon in terms of getting to those loose balls. Those 50-50s have been falling in the way of the Huskers because they've been reacting quickly to the basketball compared to Mindoro, who are mostly just watching when that ball goes up. The trick is when that shot goes up, even before it bounces on the ring, you're already there keeping a low base and ready to react where it bounces on the floor.
Well, they have 9 minutes and 39 seconds to make up for it. Down by 25, but free throws continue to be a detriment to their cause. Now 10 out of 23. Missing 13 free throws.
That could have made their life much easier in this game. Instead, they're staring at the 25-point lead right now. Not impossible, but certainly quite difficult.
Gamalinda to Sedorifa. Rebound controlled by JP Sarao.
And also the fact that that three-point shot has not been falling for them as much as in the first half has also made it hard for Mindoro here in the second half. While Quezon, on the other hand, their three-point shooting has clicked here in the last two quarters.
9 out of 28 overall. Itong Quezon Huskers. Lead has ballooned to 28. Bienes misfires from deep. Lagrama. Entry pass intended to Sarao was broken up by Ray Bienes. Sedorifa with Bam Bam Gamalinda, Ino Comboy, Ray Bienes, and RJ Ramirez. Bienes popping out. Wala pa din.
Wow, just 7 out of 31 for Mindoro from beyond the arc in this game.
And now a 30-point bubble enjoyed by Quezon. And the Huskers, again, magic number is 22 wins for them to clinch that #1 spot in the South Division. Bienes again.
Oh, he has yet to hit a three-point shot this entire game. The shooting of Mindoro going to as low as 28% in this game.
Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ay Extreme Magpalamig free installation for split-type air conditioners.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Huskers have been clicking on all cylinders, inside, outside, you name it.
And that's the question if you're the Mindoro Tamaraos. When your three-point shot is not clicking, how do you deal with that? Especially when they wind out either the play-in or the playoffs where defenses would key in more on you and play within your tendencies. And yun yung nakikita natin, Javi. Basically, Quezon has really took out Mindoro out of this game.
For me, the simple explanation really is if you find yourselves being locked out of that option that really benefits you in a game, the thing you have to rely on should be your defense. Because again, I am still really leaning on the fact that if you play good defense, you get yourselves more opportunities, more attempts, and still also get easy baskets. And that helps you score the ball better with higher percentage looks, which enables you to have the confidence to now knock down the shots you usually take from the outside.
And the accuracy from beyond the arc from the Huskers. Lagrama nailing another free, has a total of 14 points. Gamalinda with 13. Lone guy in double figures right now for Mindoro.
The problem with Mindoro in this game is they're letting their offense fuel their defense. I've said this time and time again, it should be the other way around. Defense should be the one fueling their offense, which is how Quezon has shaped their season. Not just in this game.
Yun yung main difference sa kanilang dalawa eh. Because certainly, both teams really lethal in terms of making frees.
And that's what separates the good teams from the great teams.
Jason Opiso. And, well, like Coach Christian alluded to in that Nueva Ecija and Quezon game, there are teams that can really play on one side of the floor, but the elite teams play on both sides, and that has been the DNA for the Quezon Huskers. And well, for Quezon, sorry Javi.
Yeah, dahil may dahilan naman talaga kung bakit itong laro ng basketball pareho may opensa at saka depensa.
Gixter, great move of the game, born for greatness.
You have to play well on both sides because if you only play on the other side of the basketball, on one side of the basketball, nothing's gonna happen to you. If you're a team who only plays excellent defense but cannot shoot, then hindi ka rin naman mananalo.
Yeah. Kyle Perez, pinasok na dito for Mindoro.
But what I'm saying is that, again, it should be the defense fueling your offense. Dun mo dapat kinukuha yung lakas mo para umopensa. Hindi dapat nakadepende yung pagdidepensa mo sa pag-opensa mo.
Mindoro Tamaraws using another timeout. Behind now by 29 points, 80-51. Next 3 games of the Mindoro Tamaraws, September 10, a date with the Val City Magic. On the 13th, they'll go up against Pasig City. And on the 16th, they will take on the Pangasinan Heat Waves. And when you look at that schedule, Javi, unless parang 3 games pagitan, no, in between those 3 games. So they will be playing 3 games in a matter of 6 days.
Yeah, and that's no thanks to the cancellation of games that happened due to inclement weather. So Mindoro, they're really gonna have to dig deep as they wind down the season, especially with what happened here. I hope that they would learn from this, because I think their reaction from this game, whatever the outcome, will begin to fuel what should happen to them.
And this impending loss is gonna hurt because they will fall down to 13 and 11, half game behind Basilan for that number 6 spot. And remember, top 6 teams get an automatic entry into the playoffs in their respective divisions.
Yeah, and because of their depleted roster, they would want themselves positioned in the top 6 para naman may panahon pa sila na magpahinga before the postseason actually starts. Because falling down into the 7th to 10th spots will help you, or rather would put you in more games because of the play-in tournament. Dadaan ka pa sa butas ng karayom para lang makapasok sa ating playoffs.
And also, aside from Pangasinan, they still have a date with Batangas City in Abra. That's a really tough schedule to close out their regular season. But the way things are shaping up, at least they guarantee themselves a spot in the play-in for that number 7 spot. Maganda kasi doon, Javi, at least matalo ka man doon, may lifeline ka pang isa. Pero yun nga, if you're Mindoro, you would want to less complicate things by just getting into the playoffs outright. Pero yun nga, magiging mahirap from here on out. 80-53. Approaching the halfway point of the fourth. Ino Comboy gets it to Kyle Perez. Comboy asking for a foul. It's a shot clock violation against Mindoro.
Visibly frustrated with the way his former senior at FEU was defending him. Could not get a decent opportunity for a shot. Tamsi was right in his grill.
80-53. Under 5 minutes remaining. It's back to the drawing board for the Mindoro Tamaraws. On the other side, the Quezon Huskers, with this impending win, are just one win away rather, from clinching that #1 spot in the South Division. And those 2 wins they had, Javi, against, well, actually yung tatlo rin against Basilan. That was a statement win. And certainly no easy opponent. Then they had those pair of resounding victories against San Juan and Nueva Ecija. They could have easily been 18-6 or 17-7. But because of those wins, they created some separation in terms of them getting a foothold of that #1 spot in the South Division.
Tama ka dyan. And you know, them digging deeper than what they've had already this season just enabled them to take their game to a next level. Different players stepping up. And you have the coaching staff also recognizing the different talents that they have on this team to help fuel more opportunities and to also, you know, put a shadow of mystery on this Quezon's Husker squad.
Mayor Ina Alegre Cruz, a long look. But again, the mission remains the same for Mindoro, is for them to make their very first playoff appearance this season. Vince Magbuhos, what a pass inside. Jared Sevilla scores. 82-54. I'm sure attorney Don Capunan is watching and enjoying the handiwork of his team. Quezon Huskers. And a foul will be whistled against Quezon as Comboy opts to back his defender down, has yet to hit a free.
See here, 3 defenders converging there on Vince Magbuhos, making the right decision in feeding Sevilla on the left side.
Ino Comboy at the line. Itong free throw na ito ay hatid sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Pasok unang free throw ni Ino Comboy, but it's been a very lethargic night to say the least. Even missing his free throws, 2 out of 4. 82-55. Quezon en route to grab win number 21. Ball stolen away by Diego Bangkale. Left it short. Perez inside. And he has had a couple of baskets, the former Diliman College player.
Miss here by Andrews. Perez taps it to himself and finishing through the contact. Huwag na nila tingnan masyado yung score dito, no, Ken?
Yeah.
It's close to impossible for them to overcome this deficit. But again, just like I say, in games where the teams fall into this deep of a hole, you start with making the right habits. And for Mindoro, especially with a tough schedule ahead of them, importante para sa kanila na umpisahan na agad ang matinding pagbabago.
Nagramas pass, broken up by Ino Comboy. Ashon Andrews, who will join the slam dunk contest, if I'm not mistaken.
He will, yes.
He's had some games where he made quite an impact for Mindoro.
Yeah, his playing time this season has been night and day.
Yeah. Been spotting around. Sevilla almost lost it. Lagrama, inside pass, and Joshua Riero will score. Mindoro will use their last time out. Down now by 25 points. It's been all Quezon Huskers tonight.
Yung mga possession na sana meron ng makukuhang stop ang Mindoro, they fail to go to that 50-50 and Quezon ends up scoring after that.
Topeng Lagrama, magnificent for the Quezon Huskers. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 5 shooting from beyond the arc.
A lot of these looks from three-point country have been open looks para kay Topeng Lagrama, making good use of his time on the floor. Those 14 points been quick para sa kanya. 14 points in barely 16 minutes of play.
Quite a legend in Quezon. Sari-saring mga barangay, mga nilaruan niya dyan sa lalawigan ng Quezon.
Oh, I agree. Dahil maraming mga homegrown players rin naman sa liga na to. Or as we see Andrews get a nifty euro going to the bucket. Lagrama, there are other players who come in and when they have an impact on the floor, talaga maghihiyawan, especially when they play on their home court. Si Topeng, hindi pa pumapasok, naghihiyawan na yung mga tao.
Matik yan, basta sa Lucena. Look at this acrobatic move from Ashton Andrews. 84-61. Eman Tagle, napunta kay Jared Sevilla sa 3, Mintes. Comboy, nakuha yung rebound. Binigay kay Ashton Andrews. Bangkale na pass to Ethan Calang. Oh, what a move! Ethan Calang getting away, but just could not hit the three-pointer. The pass. Oh, Piso!
Wait. My goodness.
Had bad intentions on that one.
He's really coming from an injury? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That showing us that he's fully recovered from it. It's quite difficult to get off on 2 feet, especially after coming off an injury.
And this guy might just have saved the season for Quezon last season. That putback that he had, right?
Oh, who could forget?
Because Batangas was just literally seconds away from barging themselves into the national finals before Quezon and Jason Opiso had a say to that one.
That was so heartbreaking para sa kanila because they were waiting for their turn and they've been there for the second straight time already. Third straight time rather.
Yeah. 3 straight South Division Finals appearances, and that could be another matchup on the horizon, Quezon and Batangas City.
Oh yeah, I mean imagine losing to Zamboanga the first time, then you lose to Bacoor, and then last year, seconds away, so close yet so far from reaching the national championship, you lose to the Quezon Huskers. And although this year they may look a little bit different, their strength might not be that immense compared to the past couple of years, but I say Coach Solo Villanueva's team is still going to be a very dangerous squad in the postseason.
And well, talking about Quezon, there were a bit of questions, especially how they lost against Pampanga, if you remember, way back at home. And then they had that loss against Rizal where Rizal just got off to a really strong start. But boy, they responded in a very impressive way after that. Those pair of wins against Nueva Ecija, San Juan. Altamsi putting the cherry on top with that 3. 87-62. Quezon showing us that they are also a team to be reckoned with in the postseason. Because we have really focused our attention to the top 3 teams in the North. In fact, Javi, the last 3 teams rather, that won the championship, all coming in the North Division.
Tama ka dyan.
The back-to-back championships of Pampanga, Nueva Ecija won it in Season 4. And in fact, just 2 out of the 6 championships have been won by teams from the South. It was Batangas City in the inaugural season where we didn't have any divisions, Javi. And then the 3rd season, won by the Davao Occidental Tigers during the pandemic. So if you're Quezon and the rest of the field in the South, you guys have a lot to prove going up against the top teams in the North, as we see Jeco Bangkale knocking down another 3.
The Huskers, although they've only had a few seasons under their belt here in the MPBL, they have been one of the franchises here in this league that have really modeled themselves to be one of the more culture-sensitive franchises here in the league.
Oh yeah. And also, yung mga ibang players nila hindi nagtatapos yung journey nila as a basketball player. I recall Attorney Don Capunan mentioned to me how Robin Ronyo, after his stint with Quezon, he's gone on and have coached yung mga grassroots programs, no, ng Quezon, and that speaks volumes to what kind of a franchise this Quezon Huskers is. And well, they would love to add a championship under their belt, and they certainly have a good shot of doing so here this season.
And it's not just Robin Ronyo. As you see that slam, 2 hands there para kay Perez. It's not just Robin Ronyo, actually. Thomas Torres has also gone that route. Another former Quezon Husker, Mark Pangilinan, the same.
Yeah.
And they have really written themselves a new chapter in their professional careers, still in the same sport that they truly love.
Coach Mark, kung nanonood ka, shout-out naman sa'yo. Baka naman.
Oh, from shooter to shouter.
4.4 seconds left. Mindoro, at the very least, has managed to trim the gap to a more respectable margin thanks to this guy, Jeco Bangkale, with 16 points. But the Quezon Huskers exerting their might, grabbing their 5th straight victory, and move 1 win away from clinching that #1 spot in the South Division. And what a statement win against the Mindoro Tamaraws.
Yeah, the Huskers, they bagged their 5th straight victory at this point. And Mindoro, as I mentioned, they have a lot to learn about in this game. They have to try and dig deep and see where they can improve, what they have to improve, and they have to figure out how to do it in the soonest time possible.
Best player of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Gabanal, happy birthday to you, brother. 12 points in this game for the birthday boy. That's 3 out of 7 from downtown, together 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Great all-around performance for the league MVP.
88-72, our final score. Quezon beating Mindoro here in a battle of 2 teams from the South Division. Our former MVP is at courtside with Miss Mika Abisamis.
Maraming salamat. Congratulations, Cap Gab. And he's not here because it's his birthday. The game was obviously a collective effort, but you started the momentum sa first quarter pa lang. Kumusta ka after this game?
Back-to-back games kami. So Coach Eric is being smart how to manage the time of the players. Especially na palapit na yung playoffs, kailangan fresh na fresh kami.
You talked about the back-to-back wins, being the captain of this team. Do you think that this is already it for the playoffs and maybe higher?
Definitely, in this long tournament, it's about peaking at the right time. And the coaches are doing well in terms of managing us and our emotional state and our mental state. So I think we're peaking at the right time.
Alright, maraming salamat, Gab. First of all, on behalf of your MPBL family, happy birthday to you. Meron ka pang babang mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan?